Jack's hand trembled as the cold machine flashed prescription rejected, a lifeline denied, a veteran's pain ignored by a heartless robot. Anger surged, but this was no glitch. It was a system designed to say no. What happens when the ones who served are turned away? But what happened next will shock even those who thought they'd seen everything. But first, let's go back to the beginning. Jack Reynolds's boots scraped against the linoleum floor as he limped into the bright, sterile pharmacy. His left leg, encased in a brace, ached with every step, a constant reminder of the IED blast that had nearly ended his life 3 years ago in Afghanistan. The familiar buzz of fluorescent lights overhead did nothing to ease the heaviness settling in his chest. Clenched tightly in his fist was a thin, white paper. His lifeline. The prescription from the VA, painstakingly acquired after weeks of paperwork and visits, was his only hope to manage the relentless nerve pain that gnawed at his bones and the nightmares that clawed at his sanity each night. Jack's face was lined with exhaustion, etched deeper by years of pain and sleepless nights. His eyes, once sharp and commanding on the battlefield, now flickered with fatigue and growing desperation. He approached the sleek pharmacy kiosk, the automated dispensing robot that the pharmacy touted as a marvel of efficiency and safety. Its cold metal surface gleamed under the harsh lights, a symbol of progress, yet utterly devoid of compassion. Jack's fingers trembled slightly as he scanned the barcode on his prescription. Then came the flash of cold mechanical text across the screen. Prescription rejected. Invalid authorization. Jack's breath hitched. His fingers fumbled, the paper trembling as he scanned it again, slower this time, willing the machine to cooperate. But the message was unchanging, implacable. Prescription rejected. Invalid authorization. It felt like a slap in the face. Years of sacrifice, endless battles, both abroad and inside his own mind, boiled down to a cold, unfeeling machine's error. Nearby, Sarah, the young pharmacy technician with kind eyes and a timid smile, glanced up from her station. "Sorry, sir. The system won't fill this one. You'll need to talk to your doctor." Jack's voice cracked with frustration, barely held back anger simmering beneath every word. "This is from the VA. I've been through hell for this country. How can a robot just say no? I'm in pain. This medication saves me." Sarah's expression softened, but her hands were tied. "It's the system. It flagged your prescription. Maybe some paperwork issue?" Jack clenched his jaw, fury rising like a tide. His body trembled, not from pain, but from the injustice. The very country he fought for now denied him relief through a machine that didn't know his story, didn't see his scars. He turned away, boots dragging, the taste of bitter disappointment thick in his mouth. Outside, the late spring sun shone on the parking lot, indifferent to the battle raging inside him. Pulling out his phone, Jack dialed the VA hospital, the voice on the other end distant and bureaucratic, offering little more than empty promises and vague reassurances. "We'll review your case," they said. But days passed like a slow march of agony. Each hour stretched endlessly, punctuated by waves of pain that racked his body, and nights swallowed by shadows, darker than any battlefield. Every moment Jack spent waiting for answers was a moment stolen from the fragile peace he clawed back every day. The robot's refusal wasn't just a glitch in a system. It was a brutal barrier, a cold denial of the humanity beneath his military uniform. In that sterile pharmacy, among rows of blinking machines and plastic bottles, a veteran's fight was far from over. The social media storm ignited almost instantly. A single post from a bystander, capturing Jack Reynolds's quiet fury and hollow eyes as he faced the unyielding pharmacy robot, spread like wildfire. The hashtags multiplied. Veterans. Deserve better. #fix the system, had human not machine, echoing across platforms, igniting a surge of outrage and solidarity. Veterans groups mobilized, their spokespeople amplifying Jack's plight in podcasts, radio interviews, and local news broadcasts. Grassroots activists flooded city council meetings, demanding accountability, while civilians, many unaware of the bureaucratic chokeholds on veterans' healthcare lent their voices, sharing their own frustrations with faceless systems that prioritized profit and efficiency over people. Within days, the story transcended digital outrage and morphed into a tangible force of change. The decision came swiftly, unprecedented in its boldness. An Army field hospital would be stationed outside the pharmacy's parking lot. A rolling symbol of hope and defiance against the cold machinery of bureaucracy, it arrived like a battle-ready unit, not for war, but for healing. The massive white tents, adorned with the unmistakable insignia of the U.S. Army Medical Corps, were flanked by ambulances and military trucks, their engines humming steadily beneath the muted spring sky. Colonel Megan Harper, a steely-eyed woman whose reputation for decisive leadership was known well beyond military circles, stood in at the forefront. Clad in uniform, her voice steady and resonant, she addressed a crowd of reporters and local officials. "We're here because the system failed one of our own," she said, eyes locking with the cameras as if daring the bureaucracy to defy her. "No veteran should be turned away when their health depends on us." Inside the field hospital, the sterile hum of medical equipment was punctuated by the quiet footsteps of nurses and medics, their faces etched with the same determination that had once carried them through combat zones. They moved with practiced efficiency, dispensing medications and offering care to veterans and civilians alike. No questions asked, no forms delayed, no algorithms denying treatment. Meanwhile, inside the pharmacy, the atmosphere shifted palpably. The automated robot's cold refusal was no longer a simple technical malfunction, but a glaring symptom of systemic decay. Pharmacy management found themselves under intense scrutiny, caught between corporate directives and mounting public pressure. The robot's programming, it emerged, was a weaponized tool of cost-cutting, hardwired to flag prescriptions deemed too costly or insufficiently authorized, rejecting them without the mitigating judgment of human pharmacists. The very heart of the VA's contracted pharmacy system was a machine designed not for healing, but for gatekeeping. For Jack Reynolds, the sight of the field hospital was a balm to his fraying hope. He watched soldiers in scrubs offer smiles, genuine and unhurried, as they handed out his medication. The sharp edge of bureaucratic denial softened beneath their care. Yet beneath that rising hope was a cold recognition. This was not just about one prescription or one veteran. It was a struggle against a sprawling, impersonal system that prized efficiency over empathy, profits over people, and that was now under the glaring spotlight Jack's story had forced. The field hospital was a beacon, but also a challenge to the establishment, a vivid reminder that when systems fail, human resolve must rise to fill the void. The battle for Jack's health and for the dignity of countless veterans like him was intensifying. The machinery that rejected him was vast and relentless, but now so was the will to fight back. The storm of public outrage proved unstoppable. The relentless scrutiny from news outlets, advocacy groups, and thousands of voices across social media platforms forced the pharmacy's corporate leadership into action. Behind the sterile glass walls of their headquarters, executives who had once championed cost-cutting algorithms now faced an undeniable truth. Their cold, unfeeling machines had become instruments of cruelty, denying care to the very people who had sacrificed everything. Reluctantly, they overrode the robot's rigid verdict, authorizing the immediate fulfillment of Jack Reynolds's prescription. The pharmacy's shelves, once a battleground of bureaucracy and despair, now offered a small but significant victory. But the action was more than a simple override. It was a crack in the foundation of a broken system. Alongside filling Jack's prescription, the company launched an internal review, signaling a commitment, however tentative, to dismantle the robotic iron grip that had rejected countless veterans before him. Automated rejection policies, once a matter of unquestioned efficiency, came under fire. The new mandate demanded human oversight at every critical juncture, insisting on respect, empathy, and compassion to guide decisions that impacted lives, not just bottom lines. Jack Reynolds stood at the forefront of a movement larger than himself. Partnering with Colonel Megan Harper and a coalition of veterans advocates, he channeled his frustration and pain into fierce advocacy. Together, they traversed town halls, congressional hearings, and public forums, their voices rising in unison. Their message was clear and uncompromising. The veterans who bore the wounds of service deserved nothing less than a system that honored their sacrifice with dignity and care, a system where no prescription could be rejected without the conscience of a human mind behind the decision. Months later, in a ceremony charged with solemn pride and quiet triumph, Jack was awarded a Community Service Medal. The room filled with veterans, their families and supporters, the weight of shared struggles heavy in the air. When Jack stepped forward to accept the medal, his voice trembled. Not from weakness, but from the sheer magnitude of what had been won through courage and persistence. "I fought for this country," he said, his eyes sweeping across the crowd as if seeing every veteran he represented. "I thought my battle was over when I came home, but it never ends until we fight for each other." Those words rippled through the gathering, striking chords of recognition and resolve. Jack's struggle, once a solitary fight shadowed by pain and frustration, had become a beacon of hope and inspiration. Veterans from all corners of the nation found their voices, emboldened by his example, demanding better care and accountability. The impersonal robot, once a symbol of cold denial, transformed in the public imagination into a testament to human resilience, the refusal to bow before injustice, to accept neglect, and to allow bureaucracy to erode the honor owed to those who serve. The changes set in motion reached beyond Jack's own prescription. Policies were rewritten to require clear human intervention in any case where veterans' health was at stake. Training programs were instituted to sensitize frontline workers to the unique challenges faced by those returning from war zones, many of whom carried invisible wounds alongside visible scars. The relentless push of automation was tempered by a renewed commitment to empathy, a recognition that technology must serve humanity, never replace it. Jack's victory was more than personal. It was collective. It was a testament to the power of persistence, the necessity of solidarity, and the enduring spirit of those who refuse to be silenced by machines or systems. The fight for justice had been long, vain, painful, and fraught with uncertainty, but in the end, it was the human heart, wounded yet unbroken, that prevailed.